morning, y'all, and welcome back to my channel. Thank y'all so much for tapping back in to see what I have to say. I promise y'all, it really does mean the world to me. But with that being said, what we talking about? We're talking about Quant Network. We're talking about Hedera hash graph. We're talking about Ripple in this video. We're talking about FedNow. We're talking about the institutional adoption of DLT processes. Follow what I'm saying, you guys. Follow what I'm saying about these crazy gems that we hold as ISO tokens. Think about it like this. We're truly, by holding these things, holding a critical part of banking infrastructure that processes will have to flow through because it's giving today's realm of banking an upgrade. A way bigger upgrade than they've gotten in about 50 years as far as transactions, as far as instant payments, as far as instant settlements, because that's a whole other thing. It's called delivery versus payment. I think like DPV or some stuff like that. But anyway, whatever the acronym is, follow me on this, you guys, because I'm always going somewhere. And if you're holding on to these ISO tokens, your Quant and your Hedera and your XRP and your XLM, you know what I'm saying? Those are some of the more popular ones, but you know, you have like XDC for trade finance. You have IOTA for the Internet of Things. Follow me on this because all of these ISO tokens, these tokens that's coupling themselves with a standard processes, meaning that once this standard goes live, I am an entity that you can use to help bring you up to the level of where the new standard is for whatever your processes is for your business. But in this one, we're talking about banking, you guys. Follow me on this because we've had some pretty major announcements in the realm of banking with things like Hedera, with things like XRP, but like for some reason, it just goes under the radar. Or when the news happens, everybody thinks it's supposed to be this massive spike up. And when it doesn't happen, it's like a big letdown. And I get all these messages. But follow me because, again, like I said, you don't want the price to go up off an announcement. You want the price to go up off of the utilization of whatever that announcement was about. OK? Follow me on this. OK? But here we go. This very first video. What I'm going to do, for those who may not know about FedNow, I'm going to just kind of sort of coming from the Federal Reserve. They put out a video, you guys, almost 4 years ago. That means that they have known about this process that they were moving towards over 4 years ago. And they put a video out for the public to understand where we were moving. Does this video mention literally ISO 222? Absolutely, the video does. And this is the even bigger part of the video, you guys. They made it a cartoon and kind of sort of like stick figures, not even a lot of words. So that means anybody could understand what's happening. But they know that when certain things roll out, it's going to be an uproar. And they're going to say, no. We've been telling you guys this for years. Go back, watch this video, or go back, watch that video. Follow me, okay? Follow me on this. But here we go. That first video coming directly from the Federal Reserve of America. I'll be right back.
In today's fast-paced world, time is money. More people, businesses, and organizations are demanding instant payments. That's why the Federal Reserve is developing the FedNow service, a safe and efficient instant payments infrastructure that will modernize the U.S. payment system. The FedNow service will give financial institutions the opportunity to innovate, enabling their customers to send and receive money in seconds, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. Funds will settle between financial institutions in real time, which means there's no buildup of interbank obligations, and end users will have access to the funds in seconds. How will the FedNow service work? Imagine the owner of a coffee shop is running low on coffee beans and needs to schedule a quick delivery. She places an order, and the coffee bean company sends her a request for payment. She responds to the request for payment and pays for the coffee beans right then and there through an app from her credit union, which uses the FedNow service. Once she initiates the payment, her credit union screens the payment and sends an ISO 20022 compliant payment message, either directly or through a service provider to the FedNow service over the Federal Reserve's FedLine network. The FedNow service instantly validates the payment message and passes it along to the coffee bean supplier's bank. In real time, the supplier's bank confirms to the FedNow service that it intends to accept the payment, and the FedNow service debits and credits the master accounts of both the shop owners and the coffee bean supplier's financial institutions or the master accounts of their correspondents. The FedNow service also immediately sends a payment message with an advice of credit to the supplier's bank and notifies the shop owner's credit union that settlement is complete. Finally, the supplier's bank credits the supplier's account in near real time, making the funds available. The supplier's bank will have the option of sending a confirmation to the shop owner's credit union that the payment has been posted to the supplier's account, providing the coffee shop owner with certainty that the payment was received. The FedNow service will be designed to be flexible and support a broad range of potential use cases. Banks, credit unions, and other industry providers can use it as a springboard for innovation to support a range of applications such as account-to-account transfers and bill pay. For example, now imagine it's after hours and the shop owner gets a reminder that her car insurance bill is due today. She may be able to avoid a late fee by initiating a bill payment in her credit union app and selecting to pay it now. Later, she repays a friend for a pizza they shared using an app provided by her credit union that clears and settles through the FedNow service. With this service, banks and credit unions can remain competitive by offering the type of payment options customers increasingly expect in today's fast-paced world. The FedNow service will support flexible adoption, allowing financial institutions the option to work with aggregators, processors, and correspondents to adopt the service. Banks and credit unions will also have the option to adopt the full set of FedNow capabilities or sign on as a receive-only participant. The initial launch of the FedNow service will focus on core clearing and settlement capabilities. Additional features will be released in phases to meet evolving industry demands and changes in technology. Get ready for the FedNow service. Learn more at fednow.org.
Now, y'all just saw that video. Y'all saw the plan. You guys saw that this is something that they announced over 4 years ago, okay? Follow me on this because they've been leaving breadcrumbs this whole time. And if you haven't been tapping in or truly understand what's actually happening, you don't see it. You might see this news story, you might see that news story, but you don't put everything together like a big old stew, okay? That's what they've been doing to us globally. They've been adding the carrots and the potatoes and the meat and the onions the whole entire time. And we don't understand it. Only thing we gonna know is when the soup gets literally, here you go, drink it. Like most people in the world, we gonna do nothing but consume the stew that's already been brewing in the background for decades. But if you're tapping into me, what you're gonna do as opposed to just being a consumer of the stew, you're going to profit off of the utilization of the stew. Follow me on this, okay, you guys? I promise you, I'm always going somewhere. But here we go. This very next video, y'all listen. This came directly from my financial institution. They sent me an email and they have it on their website talking about the integration of digital wallets. Understand what is happening right in front of our faces. So now that my bank's background infrastructure, because my bank was one of those first banks that was a part of the FedNow trials. Understand? Okay? But I'm getting ready to send you a video from my financial institution, a video that they're giving to their customers, bringing us up to date on processes and letting us know what all of our options are. Follow me on this, okay, you guys? But here we go, that video from my personal banking institution.
Adding a Regions debit or credit card to your digital wallet takes just a few simple steps. First, download the Regions mobile app from the App Store and sign in to your account using your username and password. From the account screen, tap on the hamburger menu, Cards, then Digital Wallet. Tap the setup link for Apple Pay, Samsung Pay, or Google Pay. Your card's information is securely shared from your bank to the digital wallet. That's it. Your Regions debit or credit card is now active to use for payments. For more information or questions regarding how to add your debit, credit, or Now card to your digital wallet, please call us at 1-800-REGIONS or 1-800-734-4667 or visit your local Regions branch.
Now, y'all just saw directly from the bank talking about digital wallets, talking about how when you go into the app and you upgrade this, you don't have to use your card anymore. You can just tap everywhere Apple Pay and Google Pay, and I think it was Samsung Pay is accepted. Understand what's happening right in front of our faces, you guys. There is literally the digitization is happening right in front of our faces. And if you're not truly paying attention, you'll miss the boat. Follow me on this, okay? But now we tapping into Hedera and XRP. Follow me, okay, you guys? So, my boy, All in Crypto, he had an interview with the Bank Social's CEO. You may not know what Bank Social is, and if you don't, tap into it and look into it and see what it is. But it literally is the institutions that are bringing credit unions literally up to speed as far as DLT and processes. And not just here in America, but Bank Social is doing things globally, you guys. But we're going to listen to the CEO. He's going to mention things like, about DLT and processes. He's going to mention things about FedNow. Follow me on this, okay? Because Hedera got their hands in FedNow in a couple different ways. Because also in this video, I'm going to bring you the CEO of Dropp, who is also built on top of Hedera as well, okay? Follow me on this. But here we go. That next video about the Bank Social CEO coming from my boy All in Crypto.
Early 2021, we launched our first. We launched Bank Social with the BSL DAO. We made some cool announcements that we'd been working on for a long time with a DeFi federal credit union or financial institution that we're working with. There's some stuff on our Twitter, and then of course our BSL DAO, and there's a lending protocol. It was the first business loan done by a DAO in the world, which was really cool. It's all tokenized and everything, and yeah, it's been really incredible. We're going to be mashing some of that up with these financial institutions, and we've got a number of products across the board from, digital wallets that we deploy into financial infrastructure, traditional banks, and I call them digital wallets because digital assets are a lot of our world is already digital. Money's kind of already digital. I laugh when I hear central bank digital currency because, of course, there's a printed amount of dollars. There's also so much more in digital money. Yeah. So, we do that. We do some, we have some payment rails that are, as novel as DLT payment rails for international payments, international transfers. And then, we also do other types of like we were the first to launch on TCH. We were actually the first to go on FedNow as a crypto company. I think we were definitely the first and probably still the only that actually has working financial institutions on those rails that we've deployed. And then, of course, we've got all the recovery features, the crypto exchange, all those things that we have with our secure product, which is a security with DREC. I mean, you've heard about DREC. You asked me about DREC before we started. That's been really great because the XRP, we have the Hedera community. We worked on that with Dr. Lehman Baird very closely. We've got the first commercial implementation of DREC in the world. We did that with financial institutions as the helpers. It's infinitely more robust than just a couple friends sharing keys between each other. And so we've got a tremendous amount of product and servicing and traction in the market. And as you know, we just got back from GAC. I guess we can discuss that in a little bit. Absolutely. But yeah, that's kind of Bank Social. And
now you just heard directly from Bank Social CEO in regards to the processes, Hedera, all of these wonderful things, okay? Follow me in this because I'm going somewhere. And this next video is going to be Dropp's CEO. He was on my boy, the HBAR Bulls show. Follow me because these things weren't being announced. And he announced an announcement about Truist Bank. He mentioned things like the FedNow. He mentioned things more importantly like the clearinghouse. Okay? Understand that the clearinghouse is FedNow kind of sort of rival. They both do the same things around the world. They're not really rivals. They're working together, and more than likely they're probably owned by the same person. That's how these conglomerates work. But anyway, I won't even go into all of that. Just know that they do the same exact thing that the Federal Reserve do with things like FedWire, where I'm wiring things all over the world. Follow me on this because I'm always going somewhere, okay, you guys, for real. So here we go. That next video, it is Dropp CEO talking about DLT and integration into real world banks. Follow me on that next video.
It was really good we all came here. I think that was a perfect choice.
Hedera is leading in all those different narratives, but I want to get into what I think is the biggest announcement that I've seen come out of Davos so far this year, and it's coming from Dropp, your company. Can you tell us what you're doing with Truist Bank?
Absolutely. Yeah. So if Brandon, if you don't mind, I just for people who are joining and don't know about Dropp, I just want to give a couple of seconds. So Dropp is a platform for instant payments, instant settlement. So Dropp is a payment. So it's called a micro payment platform. It's meant, and our vision is to lower the cost of the transaction. Whether you are transferring US dollar or you're transferring crypto, we want to lower the cost of transaction. It's an alternative to credit cards. We are really going after the instant settlement and ultra low cost. So to achieve that, we've done two things. We've been working with banks, we're leveraging the banking rails, and we're leveraging the distributed ledger, in this case is the Hedera, because that's the way you reduce the cost of a transaction, but you also have to make it instantaneous. So when it comes to crypto, everything is instantaneous, as you all know. But when it comes to banks, there's a new rail out there, a new API, new protocol called RTP, real-time payments. And this real-time payments is offered by an organization called the Clearing House, which also does ACH, right? So it's the same organization. So we've been leveraging RTP in our platform. So when merchant gets paid, they get paid instantly. For that, we had to work and collaborate with Truist. So we've been at it for a long time. For the last 6 months, we've been working on it. Today is a big day for us. It's a really big day for Dropp. It should be also for Hedera. That we announced our partnership, I would say our collaboration, our effort, all of the work. This is step one in making the platform instantaneous, making the platform real time. There are multiple things that are going to happen, but this is step one. And US more towards instant settlement. Right now, we don't have much of an instant settlement. There's only RTP and the FedNow, which is coming up. And at some point, we'll also start putting FedNow in the system.
Understood. Now, what does it look like for the consumer at the point of sale? Is it going to look any different from the rails that they used before?
It's not going to look any different. And I think the experience is going to remain the same. And I would say even if it starts getting better, because as we deliver more products on RTP, the experience is going to be, you might not even have to upload money on your wallet to make a payment. It could happen instantly. That's the direction we are headed. So I would say it gives you an alternative method of payment and a cheaper payment method for the merchants. And so no, the experience is going to be, I would say, a lot better than what we have, or at least in part.
Okay, you guys, you just saw from Dropp's CEO talking about what? FedNow, talking about what? Literally the clearinghouse and how they're tapping into these entities. Literally, if you remember back when the FedNow was first announced, Dropp was actually one of the names for providers listed under that showcase, okay? Follow me on this because I'm always going to it. So what am I going to do now? I'm getting ready to bring my boy Gilbert, Verdian in from Quant Network. Understand what has truly been laid out and that this process has been going on in the background for now years, you guys, years, okay? So, Gilbert, this first part of the video is coming from my boy Maximus Crypto. Bro, you rock. And my boy Rue Black. Bro, you rock, okay? They did an update as opposed to, in regards to the FedNow and Hedera and Ripple, right? But, so there's a little piece of that video. And then I'm going to jump to an interview with Gilbert talking about the FedNow, talking about the real-time growth settlement system of the UK, talking about these things getting an infrastructure upgrade, talking about how he was a part of certain committees when things were being put in place. Understand what's happening right in front of our faces. And these things have been left for us to find or stumble upon. And for those ones who walking down that road, picking up all these jewels, put them inside their little bag, because right now this jewel may not be worth a lot, but it's really pretty. But you give it time and let that asset actually grow in utilization and value, and that real pretty gem one day might be something spectacularly expensive. Follow me on this one. I'm telling you what I'm telling you about these ISO tokens that are literally sitting at 20 cents. Literally sitting at a few dollars or 35 cents right now, or a Quant like at $100-something. This is not financial advice. This is just me seeing immense value in things that literally has not been given the value that it's actually worth as of right now. But one day in the very near future, when we get you a utility in motion actually up and running, and you see some of these projects that have already been quietly working in the background with these major entities and major players globally that facilitate literally trillions, if not quadrillions of dollars together per year, and then you'll truly understand their vision of what DLT is, because their vision of DLT and what maybe someone in the Web3 space as far as decentralization vision of DLT is two totally different visions. Okay, follow me on this when I'm telling you what I'm telling you about these distributed ledger technology companies that are providing real world value to real world companies, bringing them real world solutions to their everyday problems. Follow what I'm telling you, okay, you guys? But here we go. Gilbert Verdian, Quant Network CEO, the man, the myth, and the legend.
If you talk about FedNow, I think Gilbert Verdian should get the honorable mention once again, just in case you're new. Again, still on his particular resume of gilbertverdian.com, it says work history. Gilbert Verdian, creating new technologies and companies to build the future. And when you scroll further down, yeah, you see all these ones. Let's just jump right into it, other than your quants. And is he still part of the Federal Reserve? The answer is yes. Federal Reserve, Fed Payments Improvement Committee, 2018 to present. I think that is definitely worth something to point out. A World Economic Forum member confirmed that HBAR has been integrated into the Federal Reserve to expand its partnership, of course, with Ripple XRP, paving the way for what is referred to as RLUSD payments. I do agree that this is a game changer, but the move sets the stage for an interoperability layer between HBAR and XRP, revolutionizing the future of digital payments. The future of finance is unfolding before our eyes. Now,
real-time gross settlement system.
Real-time gross settlement. So what that means is, so the UK has had faster payments since 2008 when it was implemented. And what that means is when you're setting a transaction between you and someone else through your banks, it's in real time. The US has only just received that in the last couple of years. TCH was the first one, so I worked on that project through VocaLink in my previous role. That's to connect 14,000 banks to the TCH system, and even more recently, the Fed in the US is becoming a service provider with FedNow. So they're looking at providing real-time settlement between different banks and parties as well. So when you're doing bank transfers, the money actually doesn't leave banks until there's a settlement time, which is every few hours, and that settlement basically does a net settlement between what you owe to the other bank in terms of all your customers, what the other bank owes to you, and then you settle that into the account in the central bank, and that's how you have settlement between different banks. So RTGS runs that system, that the economy for that.
So can I ask you a quick question along that? So what we hear now, a lot of people are getting very excited around central bank digital currency, CBDCs. Would CBDCs play a role in RTGS, or are they more designed essentially for central banks to? No, do they have a wholesale component, or are they for retail? What's your view on CBDCs?
Yeah, it's a good question. So just back to the Bank of England example. So they're updating their RTGS in a program called RTGS Renewal. It's public. What they're looking to do is the next RTGS system is going to be blockchain compatible. So they're not going to put it on blockchain because the technology is not there for it, and it's not really designed for an RTGS system. That's a separate, high availability system. So what that means is the future RTGS system is going to be able to talk digital assets, and that's important because that's where CBDCs come in. So the view across industry, and we've been working a lot with regulators, with central banks, with the higher order of the banking system, and the view is central bank digital currencies will be here. that they're not a theoretical thing anymore. Even today, I've seen on Twitter a very a crude example of the digital yen in China. Digital yuan in China, and someone just went to a convenience store and used it as a digital wallet and just bought a drink. So the CBDC discussion is not optional. It will happen. Everyone is actively working on it. There's reports from the IMF, from BIS, from the FSB that's showing the activity. And what CBDCs will do is complement the money system, because money is very difficult to move. If you're doing small transactions, you have to do reconciliation, you have to do taxation after profits. The settlement of money has to exchange hands and then move into different banks, and then it gets settled into RTGS. So it's a difficult medium of value to transact with, but cash is still widely used. So moving away from pure cash, the CBDC that will be issued is another way for people to have a government-backed form of money that's trusted because it's backed by the central bank, and it's widely adopted because the rails are already there. It's just going to complement the payment and settlement rails that already exist, and eventually it'll get tied into RTGS. So the architecture and the thinking behind central banks, from our experience, there's going to be two types. So there's going to be a central bank issued wholesale CBDC, and that CBDC will be large value. It will be hundreds of millions, billions of pounds or dollars or euros. That will be issued to the banks, the commercial banks that are already regulated and supervised within the RTGS system. Those commercial banks, what it allows them to do is issue retail CBDCs. So the model is quite flexible. So this is where the synthetic CBDCs come in as well. So then those banks will have authorization to issue. If they've got 100 million wholesale CBDC from the central bank, they can issue 100 million worth of retail CBDCs and put it out into the system. And so what this actually does, it allows those banks to free up cash in the event of a downturn, in the event of some sort of strain or risk to the financial system. They don't have to constantly put up cash into the central bank accounts. They can actually transact with CBDCs within the banks themselves, within retail. They can also, within interbank payments, use wholesale CBDCs to settle differences between the banks themselves. And then at the end of the day, when they want to cash up and settle, they can take the wholesale CBDC and then settle with the central bank, and then they get the cash injected into their account, net settlements on the central bank accounts. So it frees up cash, which is good for the economy because it allows the banks to do loans to businesses, to households. It allows people to withdraw cash, to spend, and also allows debit credit cards to operate in the same way. So it frees up all this capital. So CBDC plays not just a technical role, but a monetary role within the financial system, and it's there to complement the existing cash system, the existing low value retail and large value systems as well. And it's a great tool to test monetary and other policies.
Now, y'all just heard directly from Gilbert Verdian's mouth himself. He talked about the FedNow. He talked about the real-time growth settlement system in the UK. He talked about implementing the instant payment settlement system. He talked about him sitting on the board that actually did it here in America, the Fed's Payment and Improvement Plan. We saw from Maximus and Rue Black his resume where literally he still currently sits in 2025 because it says to present, meaning today, as far as the Federal Reserve is concerned. Understand what's happening right now. Understand that there's critical infrastructure. And if you're truly paying attention in 2025 to these massive players, because they may not have the value right now. Of course, you may see some of these things like Quant at under $1 billion market cap, and I want to say Hedera's been doing pretty good lately around, like, I can't even remember last time I looked. I try not to look at the market every day because to me this is not a day-to-day market. I have a long-term strategy. I'm thinking more like 5 and 10-year projections of this market. So I try not to focus too much. And don't get me wrong, price action, the bad day when I see all this news, I gotta take a little peek to see what's truly going on. But it doesn't faze me because I understand the long-term vision and goal of where you have now central banks you have governments, you have standard organizations, and you have things like internet protocols being built out around the space. So I think long term, when it comes to some of these things, people, in my comments all the time, is it 3-digit quant? Is it going to be a 4-digit quant? Is it going to be a 5-digit quant? Within the next 1, 2, 3 years, who knows? But I know, and I feel in my heart that when utility in motion actually takes off, it's probably going to price most of retail out. So this truly is the time for us to be accumulating these gems, these HBARs at like 19 cents. And your XRP, your XRP at like 2 something, dollars and some cents. And your XLMs at like 20 and 30 cents. And Quant in between $80 to $100, because everybody wants this move from Quant. But understand, when it doesn't take a lot of buying power to truly push Quant's price really high, really fast. And what I mean by that is it could be as instant as overnight, where you have the opportunity for retail to actually accumulate multiple quants at one time, and then get to the point overnight where literally to get one quant is going to be something astronomical. And that could very well happen when true utilization of these processes, like the digital sandbox in the UK, the digital security sandbox. That means that the securities that now flow through their regulated stock market is now getting pushed into a sandbox, so they can understand how these assets will be traded on this new financial system. It's a sandbox today. Wait until that sandbox goes from proof of concept and sandboxes to utilization in everyday processes, sending securities every single day, the way they do it now in the regular space. We have the Rosalind security sandboxes for CBDCs now, and you now have had multiple countries adopt the Rosalind security sandbox. But understand what happens when that security sandbox ends and you now go into a system where you now have central bank digital currencies flowing globally, and they're utilizing the technology that they tested in the sandbox. Understand what utility in motion truly means, okay? Understand what is truly happening right now in 2025. And I know I just said sandboxes as far as the UK, but these sandboxes are being done and being tested globally, you guys. It's not just me saying it. I do so much research in regards to the Web3 space and the real utility of the Web3 space. And you have global players that facilitate quadrillions of dollars collectively, all looking into DLT. This is the reason why we just had the comptroller of currency. I did a video about it here in America. Tell banks they can now start operating in the Web3 space. This is the reason why SOB 21 here in America was turned over. This is the reason why the Genius Act, the Stablecoin Act, just passed the Banking Senate Committee. These things are happening for a reason, because they want comprehensive regulation to Trump within the first 6 months, because the rest of the world is already at that point. The EU, Mika's already live. They've had their stablecoin stuff since literally summer. Understand what's happening. You have the UK with certain things and that have a plan and a roadmap to be up live and operational this year, 2025, you guys. And now we are playing catch up. But we running down the field here in America with the ball like at full steam ahead, dodging everybody, because we are trying to get ahead of the doggone curve, because we've allowed the last 4 years to get drastically behind. But I won't even go into all of that. But what I will say is, you guys, tap in, know what's truly happening. Understand that you have certain utility projects giving financial infrastructures to global entities, okay? And I know this was kind of a long rant, and if you made it all the way through, okay, type in FedNow, okay? That way I know you made it all the way through this entire video. I appreciate all of y'all for tapping in. I appreciate all of y'all for tuning in. Until the next time, y'all already know. Peace out.